Welcome to Power, Policy, and Progress, the podcast where politics, policy, and the stories shaping our future take center stage. I'm Madison Maynard, and I'm back with Cameron Phillips, my boyfriend. We had an amazing episode last week, so
Yes, we
thank you
did.
so much for joining me again.
Thank you for having me today and then.
Yes, of course. So a lot has happened, everyone. A lot has happened. So it's been 250 years of America. Woo. But behind the fireworks and the calls for unity on the National Mall, the reality on the ground tells a much more complicated story. From the streets of Washington, D.C. to the campaign trails of New England, America's deepest internal fractures are on full display. So today, we're going to start with the shocking march that happened on Capitol Hill as max white nationalists marched through local neighborhoods. Plus, the Progressive Coalition faces a reckoning of its own as Maine's Democratic Senate nominee, Graham Platner, faces total abandonment from his closest allies following devastating allegations. And later, the wall of silence in Washington grows taller as aides decline to say why former Republican leader Mitch McConnell remains in the hospital weeks after a serious medical emergency. So all of that and more coming up on this episode of Power, Policy, and Progress. Let's get right into it. As Washington prepared for the main event celebrating America's 250th birthday, a stark and unsettling reminder of the nation's deepest fractures marched directly through the Capitol. On Saturday morning, July 4th, several hundred masked men wearing the uniform of the white supremacist group Patriot Front assembled near Capitol Hill. Clad in their signature khakis, dark shirts, and white face coverings, because they're cowards, they don't want to show their face, the group carried Confederate battle flags and shouted, "Reclaim America," before piling into rented U-Hauls and leaving the district before 11 a.m.
Why do they love their U-Hauls? They love their U-Hauls. They did that in Columbus.
Oh my god.
They got in the U-Hauls in Columbus. They love their U-Hauls.
They love their U-Hauls. It's giving U-Haul a bad rep, in my opinion.
That's right.
It's pretty horrible.
White supremacy, U-Haul.
So like you said, there's too many like scenarios where it's just their links. Like it's not good. Right. It's not good. So this brief march, like I said, this ended at 11 a.m. So this brief march exploded across social media, drawing immediate condemnation from civil rights watchdogs who noted the group's explicit goals to transform the U.S. into a white ethno-state. The Metropolitan Police Department kept a close watch but made no arrests, stating that they remain committed to maintaining public safety while recognizing the right to peaceful expression. It was a chilling counter-narrative to the weekend's unity-themed celebrations, proving that even on a milestone anniversary, America's oldest ideological battles are still being fought right on the streets of the Capitol. So I'm going to show a few videos and an image that really just captures how frightening this all is. Because this happened in DC, and there's an image of a Black woman on the metro with all of the white nationalists in there. But first, we're going to react to a few videos. So now we are going to react to the first video from NBC Washington. So that's the first video. They're chanting "Reclaim America." They are all masked. They're also flying American flags, which is just so shameful that you're flying the American flag when you're the Confederate flag at the same time. So you're flying the American flag and you're flying the Confederate flag while chanting "Reclaim America" and your desire to have a white ethno state. A white ethno country. It's just absolutely disgusting and shameful. So now I'm going to show the image of the Black woman who was on the metro with all of these white supremacists. It is just truly horrifying. And this is just a situation that no one would want to be in ever in their lifetime.
That's right. Nobody would want to be.
Absolutely nobody. So
especially if you're Black.
Especially if you're Black. So this image has gone viral because, I mean, just look at her face. I mean, how else are you supposed to be in this situation? Literally everyone surrounding you basically doesn't want you to exist.
Doesn't want you to be there.
Doesn't want you to be there. And I think at this point, we still don't know who this commuter is. I know that there are a lot of Black journalists that were trying to find her, that they're trying to look for her. Because of course, like, this image went viral, and this image is even, people are talking about it being considered for Pulitzer Prize, for awards. Yeah, for like the Time magazine cover of the year.
An impactful picture. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Extremely impactful.
So what are your thoughts about this march and it happening on the 250th anniversary of America?
I feel like I'm a little bit conflicted. I think, mainly speaking, I'm very much a proponent of free speech. I feel like if we are allowed to organize for what we believe in, they are also allowed to organize for what they believe in. However, the more human side of me that's obviously biased would say, I wouldn't want these people that don't want me here, don't want you here, don't want that lady on the train here, don't want a lot of our viewers and listeners here to be able to speak up and get this publicity. That's what they want. They want to be masked. They want to be faceless people that can go back to their day jobs and nobody knows.
Like, no one will never know.
But they want the publicity that they're getting from the media coverage.
That's so true.
It's pretty pathetic because, there's obviously going to be more people that believe the same thing that they do and will end up joining them inevitably.
Yeah. And like you said, because they want the publicity, there are going to be younger neo-Nazis who might be inspired and might want to join in or even start their own white supremacist group. This is just a really scary time to be Black in America under Trump's second term, under Trump's second administration. White nationalists now more than ever feel so comfortable to do things like this. But do they feel comfortable when they have to be masked, when they're masked, when no one knows who they are? Like you said, they could go to work the very next day or the same day.
The same day.
And then no one would know that they were there. No one would know.
And I actually saw a comment on social media I thought was very interesting. Someone said at least the Black Panthers were never masked.
Facts.
At least they owned it.
They owned it. And these people will never own it.
They will never own it. They are certainly extremely confident because they know that it will be so hard for someone to figure out, oh, I know who that is.
Exactly.
They can do whatever they want.
They can do whatever they want.
No one knows who they are.
Exactly. So now we're going to watch another video. It just shows the same white nationalists in the metro, going in the metro, and they look like they're having a jolly old time.
That's right.
So let's watch the sound.
Yeah, you do heat stroke. Oh, you been to the gym? How you sweat?
Can you sit, man? Don't mean to cramp you up here, sorry.
Like, they are just having a jolly old time.
But imagine you as a Howard University student, you use the transit system consistently. Imagine you're minding your own business and that happens.
Exactly. And I was thinking about that. I literally was thinking about the fact that if this wasn't summer and say like I was going on the metro with some friends and we were just caught in the crossfire of a white nationalist group that is on their way to march with Confederate flags and American flags. It's like that could have happened to me as a DC college student, right? Who uses the metro system. And it's scary. It's scary to think that you're in Washington, D.C. is a very Black district.
Extremely.
But you could still be in the middle of a very dangerous, very scary situation.
That's right.
So it's just heartbreaking that this happened. However, like I said, white nationalists feel incredibly comfortable marching under the second Trump administration. This is no coincidence that on the 250th anniversary of America, where there's so many people celebrating, that this happened on the 4th of July.
That's right.
We turn now to a massive, fast-moving political crisis in the Northeast that has thrown the battle for control of the United States Senate into complete chaos. So Maine's Democratic Senate nominee, progressive outsider Graham Platner, who I've been very critical of,
extremely critical
on this show, and people on TikTok have very much come for me.
And then all for you to be
all
correct.
For me to be literally correct. I'm just saying. But he is facing overwhelming and near universal pressure to drop out of his race against Republican incumbent Susan Collins. The race has completely unraveled following a bombshell political report where a former girlfriend accused the Marine Corps veteran and oyster farmer Graham Platner of sexual assault, alleging he drunkenly forced himself on her in 2021. Just hours ago, a second ex-girlfriend came forward to the Washington Post accusing Platner of a pattern of non-consensual sexual conduct during their relationship. The political fallout hasn't just been instant. It has resulted in a total unprecedented defection from his top allies. Senator Bernie Sanders, who was Platner's most influential and prominent national backer, and was defending him to the death, even with the Nazi tattoo, people, just saying, confirmed that he did speak directly to Graham Platner and urged him to withdraw from the race. So people can't defend him anymore, right? Representative Ro Khanna of California, who had previously stood by the populist candidate through earlier controversies, completely pulled his endorsement, stating that violence against women is an absolute red line, as it should be for everyone.
But the Nazi tattoo is not.
That's what I'm saying. Like, the Nazi tattoo should have been the final straw before all of this even came out. That should have been the final straw, people.
Nazi tattoo, okay. Abuse against women, that's where we draw the line.
Like, bro, both, it should have never even gotten to, like, these women having to come forward. They should come forward. I'm glad they came forward. And what should have happened is he should have never been a nominee. And these women who came forward said, thank God he wasn't a nominee because we're coming forward and saying that he abused me. It shouldn't have been that he is the Democratic nominee for the United States Senate, and then these women come forward to accuse. The Nazi tattoo should have been the final straw.
The final straw.
And also his racist remarks, homophobic remarks, his offensive and derogatory remarks about Purple Heart recipients. All of these things should have been the final straw. But all of that is fine. And now they have to pull their endorsement because it got worse, right? And like I said, right? Like, people can change all these things. Okay, whatever. That's what a lot of people are saying. People can change. When you raped someone and sexually assaulted someone just a few years ago, you haven't changed. And when you're saying that just a few years ago you had a Nazi tattoo, you were proudly displaying it, you're proudly talking to your ex-girlfriends about having a Nazi tattoo. No, I'm not just believing that now in 2026 you're just like this change for form person. No.
That's right.
No. So, like I said, the final straw should have been a long freaking time ago.
That's right.
And I guess I should also say for this video, where we are is a little late, but just for those watching this, we're talking about very sensitive topics.
That's right.
So I also just want to say that if you feel uncomfortable, you can always, turn this off and come back to another segment. But just wanted to say, but when women come forward and they are talking about abuse like this, it has to be taken seriously. And I'm glad that the Democratic Party is taking it seriously. But I think your point and my point is it shouldn't have even gotten to this for him to be forced to drop out. There were so many other things before this that were pretty horrific and should have been taken seriously by the Progressive Coalition.
And we have had people be accused of sexual assault or sexual, abuse in the past that have been fairly unfounded.
Mm-hmm.
And while we don't really have all of the evidence to suggest that this person is telling the truth,
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, Graham Platner has kind of made his bed.
Yeah.
His past allegations, his fiery past, has really proven that this person may truly be telling the truth.
Of course.
And due to his track record.
Due to the track record, of course, innocent until proven guilty. However, it just paints a picture.
It paints a picture.
Certainly. When you already are known for having a horrific past with women, you're already known for making derogatory remarks about rape, you're already known for basically downplaying sexual assaults that happen in the military, downplay that.
Right.
So it just paints a larger picture, and it's just very unfortunate that the Democratic Party allowed it to get this far. Because like I've continuously said, the Democratic Party should hold themselves to a higher standard. It shouldn't be because Trump is this, Trump is that we should just be okay with Graham Platner. No, Democrats should hold themselves to a higher standard. And that is the problem I have with Democrats that were defending Graham Platner, because it's like, but Trump. I call it out on the Democratic side. I call it out on the Republican side. I call out racism on both sides. I call out abusers on both sides. That's why even though I'm not a Democratic socialist, if I was a New York voter during the 2025 New York mayoral race, I would have voted for Zohran Mamdani because Andrew Cuomo was accused of sexual harassment and sexual assault. So it's like, when you're accused of things that are very concerning and very vile and very cruel and harmful towards women, I'm not going to support you, even if it's just you're accused, right? If you're accused and technically we don't know if it's true or whatever, I still, as a woman, just cannot just be like, yeah. No, I don't get behind that. But we have learned that the Progressive Coalition has completely abandoned him. So Our Revolution, the grassroots organization founded by Bernie Sanders, has rescinded its backing alongside Arizona Senator Ruben Gallejo, Senator Elizabeth Warren, and the campaign finance reform group and Citizens United. So Platner has fiercely denied the new allegations, calling them categorically false and politically motivated. That sounds like something Trump would say. But released a video admitting he is reflecting on the best path forward. But the clock is ticking loudly for the Democratic establishment. Under Maine state law, Platner has until July 13th to officially withdraw his name from the ballot if the party has any hope of replacing him and salvaging what was once a highly competitive must-win Senate seat. So we are going to react to the woman who came forward, and it's so hard to discuss something like this, and especially with so many people attacking you.
That's right.
And what this woman has gone through, just said she has come forward. People are saying that she's a liar and this, that, and the third. So now we are going to react to Jake Tapper's interview with Jenny Rassicott, and just want to give a warning that she is discussing rape and sexual assault. And if you do not feel comfortable continuing with the video because of that, please, you are welcome to turn this off, come back at another segment, because this is just a really hard topic. So we're going to play it. Turn on the volume.
He was heavily intoxicated, had intentions with me, and wasn't listening when I said no. And
you were saying, no, don't, no, don't. over and over and over.
I remember, obviously I've had to recall a lot of this. This is something that I tried for many years to forget. And so small details, might get past me. But yes, I remember very specifically saying, I'm not into this. I remember that the most, sort of saying that the most firmly. I remember specifically him like grabbing at my chest, and I like hit his hand and I said, don't touch me. And I remember that during the altercation.
And then he kept going.
Yeah.
I know that you have been very reluctant to tell this story. Very reluctant.
Yeah.
I'm actually surprised you're here.
Thrown up 3 times today.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Why did you ultimately decide to do it? Why come forward?
A few reasons. One of the biggest ones is that I think that there are a lot of men in this world relying on the silence of women.
Wow. A lot of men are relying on the silence of women.
That's true.
That's so heartbreaking. Do you have any initial thoughts? We're going to watch another video of her in the interview, but I mean, it's just heartbreaking.
Yeah, so I think, unfortunately, I think that she did choose a time period in which, I feel like a woman can come forward with these allegations whenever she wants. She doesn't need to wait for like the right time. But I do feel like it might in a way be valid for people to question, well, why are you doing this right now? Why are you doing this a week before Graham Platner has to resign essentially or withdraw from the race? And so I think that while she doesn't really owe these people an explanation, of course, because this is such a traumatic thing that she went through, I do feel like if she had been able to say, I feel like he's being backed after all the terrible things that have already come out about him, so I would like to provide further evidence as to why we should not be supporting him, even if we don't like Trump. Perfect. I think that's perfect. But at the same time, I also agree that she doesn't need to wait for anybody, and she does not owe anybody an explanation as well.
Yeah. I mean, it's just difficult for women to come forward with these allegations because a lot of the time it's just hard for them to even think about it and then, in a personal level, let alone you're sharing with the world.
And now she's getting scrutinized.
And now she's being scrutinized. I mean, y'all, some of these comments, I mean, I don't even know. I mean, these comments are, why is she talking to Jake and not a lawyer? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like people are trying to just immediately say she's a liar, right? And obviously, like I said, innocent until proven guilty. But I'm gonna say it, and people are gonna be mad. But if this was another person accusing Trump of rape, they would not be this hard on the woman because it's Trump. And that's just the honest truth. Because this is a Democrat, Democrats are more like wanting to just be like, no, it's a lie. It's like, this is what Republicans do for Trump.
That's right.
It's very problematic. We as Democrats need to be the better party.
We need to be better.
We need to be better. And just because he's a Democrat does not mean that we should do what MAGA does for Trump and say, no, she's lying. She's this horrible human being.
That's right.
Like, show us the proof, please. Accusations don't mean anything. Would you say that about Trump? Because clearly this person supports Graham Platner, probably.
Certainly.
Would you say that when a woman is accusing Trump of sexual assault or rape? You would be like, wow, this is another example of Trump being a vile person to women. So I'm like, it has to be called out on both sides. And that's the problem. You have to be consistent. And also bringing up Trump, like Trump did the same thing, he's president. What does that mean? What does that have to do with this? What does that have to do? And that's wrong that Trump's president after this. It's wrong that after he was charged with 34 felony counts that he's president of the United States. It's wrong that he was found liable of rape and he's the president of the United States. So no, not Trump did the same thing, he's president. No, let's not do that. Let's rise above it and be like, these allegations need to be taken Seriously.
Seriously.
And he should not be the nominee.
That's right.
He should not be the nominee. So there's another video that we're gonna watch. It's just unfortunate that so many people are being so vile and hateful
Very
and
critical of her.
and being very critical of her. I mean, of course. And it's like I want to keep saying it because I don't want to get it twisted. Obviously, this hasn't been in the court of law yet, but I just still feel like when something like this comes up, you have to take it seriously.
Yeah.
So we're gonna watch another clip from that interview.
For you to talk about for 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And even when you're telling the story, you don't use the word.
Yeah.
So let me just be, and I apologize, let me be as direct as I can. Did Graham Platner rape you?
By definition, yes. Absolutely.
Because he had non-consensual sex with you,
Yeah.
forced himself on you,
Mhm.
even after you had told him no and fought him off.
He violated multiple layers of consent that night by coming into my home when I asked him not to, and by advancing on me when I told him not to, and furthermore, another incident that I had told him not to do, and
With protection.
yeah. So, yeah. By the way that my nervous system reacted to this experience, absolutely.
You say he was forcing himself on you. It was getting violent. You were pushing him off. You were kicking him off. Needles and sewing equipment was falling all over. And walk us through the process where you decided that the safest thing you could do was just let him
To comply.
rape you.
Yeah, I had never been in that situation before. And I remember it being an instant where I had recognized that he wasn't listening to me. It wasn't just that he wasn't hearing me or whatnot. And then I recognized his level of intoxication. And I knew in that moment I wasn't safe. And I don't think I was safe to physically fight back. He's big, he's strong. And I just had to evaluate my safety and come up with the least worst outcome to the situation. And so I felt like complying for my safety was the least worst option.
But that's not consenting.
No, complying is not consenting.
Complying is letting him rape you
Is getting it over with.
so that he didn't hurt you even more.
I don't know what this person is capable of. I don't think anybody does. And even people you know for years and trust, you don't know the depths of what they're capable of. And
You were afraid for your safety.
yeah, I was afraid for my safety.
Beyond, not that rape isn't a horrific thing, but beyond
Right.
rape.
I didn't want to find out how unsafe I could get that night.
Wow. That was a hard listen.
It was not easy.
Yeah.
I think the words that stuck with me the most is that she just was like, how can I get this over with?
Yeah.
You know, I feel like sex between two consenting adults should never be, let's get this over with. It
Right.
should always be very intimate and
Right.
very like love expressing, not let's get this over with. Or you should never have to worry that if you try to fight back, you might end up getting more hurt
Mm-hmm.
than if you just comply. Because like she said, complicity is not consent
At all.
at all.
At all.
At all.
At all. It's just heartbreaking, and
Completely heartbreaking.
everything that she said needs to be taken seriously by his supporters, by his campaign, by Democrats who support him, by Democrats who didn't support him. Like, this needs to be taken so incredibly seriously.
That's right.
Everything that she just stated in that clip is vile, horrific,
Horrific.
And this dude should never, ever, ever, ever be in any elected position. Honestly, this dude doesn't deserve anything. if these allegations are true, you're a vile human being. And I cannot just be like, yay, like, go Graham for Senate. No.
It's despicable.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely vile, horrific, and despicable, like you said.
It's such a difficult lesson.
Very difficult. But of course, we have to hear what Graham Platner has to say, of course. So he gave a statement right after he was first accused. And we are going to give that a listen because, of course, it is important to, just share what he had to say about these allegations. He has denied that these allegations are real.
To directly address the troubling, serious, and false allegations against me. Any accusation of non-consensual behavior is categorically false. Over the last 10 months, I have been deeply humbled by the faith Mainers have put in me. You have welcomed me into your homes, into your places of work, into your restaurants, into your houses of worship. You have shown that a different kind of politics, one that puts the interests of people over corporations, is not just possible, but is inevitable. This movement we have built, the largest volunteer base in the history of Maine politics, the hundreds of thousands of grassroots donors, and the supporters across the ideological spectrum, we were united in a love of Maine, a belief that our politics must change, and a focus on defeating Susan Collins. So, regardless of the inaccuracy of the reporting, but mindful of the political reality it will inflict, we are taking the time to reflect on the best path forward for the state that I love, the people that I love, the movement I belong to, and the goal of defeating Susan Collins. Those were the goals when we launched this campaign, and they remain my goals today. On June 9th, 154,058 Mainers, the most in primary history, voted to reject a broken politics beholden to Washington and the donor class. They voted for hope, for change, to take back our economy, to take back our power, and to take back our Senate seat. Throughout it all, you never turned your back on me, and I will not turn my back on you now. Every one of you deserves to see that vision come to fruition and see Susan Collins defeated. And we will use every tool at our disposal to do so. As Maine goes, so goes the nation. As always, thank you.
So I want to immediately start off by saying not a single allegation was addressed.
Right. Hello?
He did not say these allegations. He didn't even talk about it. He just said,
That's why I'm like, so.
I'm going to try and figure out how to go forward from here. I'm still all for Maine and all for Maine's people, and I want to defeat Susan Collins.
I'm like,
and that's all he said.
There's no other video, Graham?
I wanted to directly address the troubling, serious,
and
false allegations against me. Any accusation of non-consensual behavior is...
That's right. It's been a day already. Nothing.
I'm confused. I'm confused.
That's extremely frustrating. That's very frustrating.
I wanted to directly address the troubling, serious, and false allegations against me. Any accusation of non-consensual behavior is categorically false. Over the last 10 months, I have been deeply humbled by the faith.
That's all he said?
That's all you said was that category.
That's why, sorry, y'all. I had to rewatch it because I was like questioning my memory. That's all he said? Because the rest of it was just him talking about and we did this as Mainers, and we did this, and we're beating Susan Collins, and we're taking back Maine. That is not the point. That is not the point.
These allegations are false, but hey guys, look what we did at Maine. Look at how strong we're standing at Maine, guys.
That was a horrible statement. I'm sorry. Who is his campaign? And we're actually after this going to react to one of his strategists. Before this came out like a few weeks ago, basically giving his reasons why they backed Graham Platner, and basically was questioned, what was your background check process like? But we're gonna watch that after this. But his campaign, all of them should never work in politics again. No one on that campaign team should ever work in politics again.
It's certainly frustrating.
If they let that statement go, just like, yeah, that's a great statement, the one sentence at the beginning, and then you want to talk about, this is the movement we built in Maine, this is the movement we built in Maine, this is the movement, and I'm not gonna let you down now.
Yeah.
Sir, you are just accused of the most horrific, vile act you could commit against a woman.
Against anybody.
About anyone. Thank you. Thank you. Anyone. Like, I'm confused. I'm lost. That was, yeah, no. That was not it. That was not it at all. Like, that was actually horrible.
It's like almost like it was such a bad response. It's like not even funny to me. You know
It's
what I'm
like,
saying?
bro, like one statement or one sentence?
It's not good.
That was bad.
It was really bad.
That was bad, Cameron. I can't lie. That was bad.
It was frustratingly bad.
Frustratingly bad.
That's right.
So we'll see if he comes out with another statement. I have no words.
Right.
But we're now going to react to a video with the Wall Street interview from the Wall Street Journal with one of his senior strategists, one of Graham Platner's senior strategists. This was before he even was the nominee on the Democratic side. Basically, this interviewer confronting the strategists about their background check process, about just why they're still, why they're still backing him as strategist and all this. This interview kind of went viral, not as viral as like other clips, but a lot of people reacted to this, specifically Black people, because they're like, if this was a Black freaking candidate, this dude would have never been asked to run. And people were saying, who asked this man to run for office? Whoever the man was like, you should run for office, and did zero research, did zero we clearly didn't know nothing about this man, because you could easily go on Reddit and you could easily go on social media and find all of the derogatory and horrible things that he has said. So let's get to this, and it's pretty bad. And I think that it's concerning. All of those who worked for the campaign, I think that all of them should never work in politics again. So let's react to this now.
The voters wanted were people who were grown in vats and had never done or said anything that they might regret their entire lives. We'd have a very different country.
We need a political revolution.
Graham Platner was a political unknown less than a year ago. He's a military combat veteran and an oyster farmer who's vaulted to the front of Maine's Senate race.
There go, good old Bernie. There go, good old Bernie. And he was defending him to the death until today. Until today, he was defending him to the literal death. He was going on CNN, he was going on all these news outlets like, I'm supporting Graham Platner no matter what, and I don't care. Okay, sir. Vile.
Riding on a populist message. And he's done it entirely outside the party's establishment, handpicked by a group of independent activists who are promoting a new type of candidate.
I mean, we want people who didn't run for student council, right? We want people who have not been spending their entire lives planning their ascent to political power.
But a string of controversies have triggered questions over whether Platner was thoroughly vetted before entering the race. You hadn't vetted Graham Platner. You hadn't done a full scrub of who he is. How did you go about vetting him?
We paid a nice firm a whole chunk of money and got some stuff back. Some of what you've seen on the news we got back. Other stuff we didn't.
Did the vetting process turn up the tattoo that became so controversial?
No.
The Reddit posts, did that turn up in the vetting process?
The firm sent us a thing, and it had
What is going
Oh my
on?
gosh.
The long pause. It's the long pause for me.
Oh my gosh.
The firm.
Oh my gosh.
This is bad, Cameron.
I have no words.
This is bad. Let's keep going.
Yes, please.
some of the posts,
Yeah.
but it didn't have all of them.
And what did you think about that? How did you think your way through the fact that he had posted these things on social media?
I said none of this will or should stop him from becoming a U.S. senator.
And what was
Clearly
your
the
thinking
voters
there?
agree. I think if what the voters wanted were people who were grown in vats and had never done or said anything that they might regret their entire lives, we'd have a very different country. Part of our thesis here is that people do not want their candidates grown in vats. They want people who are real human beings, and they want people who do not look and sound like the vat-grown people. Who
I don't want someone with a Nazi tattoo, and I don't want someone who has said derogatory remarks about pretty much every group of people.
And
I don't want that.
I do agree that I think it is a inevitable thing that we all, especially in the age of technology where nothing is truly ever forgotten, we will all say things that we truly regret.
Of course.
The problem is Graham Platner has been up to things that he would regret not even 5 years ago.
Like,
So-
not even 5 years ago, people. This is not like 2010. Well, some were from 2010, but some were also from like literally like 3, 4, or 5 years ago. So this is not like, oh, this is so long ago. No, you're not gonna convince me he just completely changed in 5 years.
That's
No,
right.
I'm sorry. You're
That's
not.
right.
I'm not. And I'm not. Okay, do we want someone that's completely perfect? No one is completely
No one's
perfect. I would say that about Kamala Harris. I want her to run for president in 2028. Do I think she's perfect? Do I think that she ran a perfect campaign in 2024? No. But that is the lie. I'm not gonna be like, yeah, Nazi tattoo. That's like just a normal thing we're gonna support. No. What that is where I draw the line. Okay, Kamala Harris. Even like Joe Biden 2020, before, he got old and all that. But Joe Biden 2020, was he perfect? No. Right? Was even Obama perfect? No. I mean, he's pretty perfect compared to half of these people now. But there were some things that people had valid criticism of Obama, right? Policy-wise, I feel. And that's why I feel like the difference is, was Kamala Harris perfect policy-wise? No. Was Joe Biden policy-wise perfect? No. Was Obama policy-wise perfect? No. Graham Platner is not perfect because he has made derogatory and horrific remarks. That is where I'm like, no, I'm not just going to be like, yeah, I support you. I'm not going to support someone who has made derogatory remarks about women and downplaying rape in the military. No, I'm not going to support that.
Allegedly committed the most heinous act.
Right.
To a single other person.
Exactly. And so I'm just like, so do I think anyone's going to be perfect? Do I think anyone's going to be a perfect candidate? No. Right. But I'm not going to compare Graham Platner to just any other imperfect candidate. Right. I'm just not. Right. Like Obama, loyal husband, father of 2 daughters, Joe Biden, right? Also loyal husband, father of I think 4 kids, right? Kamala Harris, like you can have valid criticisms of some of the things she's done in California as attorney general or all these things, right? As a prosecutor, like a lot of people in the past have issues with her as a prosecutor and accusing her of prosecuting more Black men. Right. Okay, these are criticisms you can have, but now she's come forward and said, this is what I'm doing now, and I could be like, okay. But I obviously am still going to be upset. Okay, was she prosecuting more Black men back then? Yeah. Is that really like that comfortable with me? No. But still today, she is supporting policies that are going to positively impact my life more than Trump, more than another Democratic candidate, right? So that is why I was so vote for her, even though What did she have a perfect path policy wise? No. Is she a perfect candidate? No. Do I think that she should have went harder against Israel and the genocide? Yes. But that is the imperfect thing I'm talking about. I'm not talking about imperfect and you have a Nazi tattoo. Imperfect, you are saying all these horrible things. And you also are allegedly committed rape, and like now a second woman came forward. You know what I'm saying? Like this is not the imperfect candidate that I want personally. So this white guy, and also this is a white man strategist that's like, this is what the people want. Did you talk to Black people in Maine? Did you talk to women voters in Maine?
The 12
I know.
Did you talk to the 12 Black
Did you talk to the 12? If there's only 12, you should talk to the 12.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
So I'm over it, but there's still technically more to this video. So let's finish this, and then I want to get more of your thoughts.
Who've been leading this country off a cliff for the last century, and that was Graham. If what the voters wanted,
well, not that much more to the video, but yeah, what are your thoughts?
I feel like I've given most of my thoughts already.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that, especially for this strategist, I feel like he has relied heavily on the belief that, one, the voters are not going to want someone that is perfect. I don't think anybody's ever wanted a perfect candidate because it's not possible.
It's not possible.
But at the same time, I also think that him and other strategists were relying heavily on the fact that, yes, their vetting process was probably not really all that good. But
clearly.
But they believed that to take the fight against Trump, that fight would carry more weight than what the vetting process had returned, plus what it didn't return. And I feel like for the most part, unfortunately, they were kind of right. It seemed like Graham Platner had very significant support from the left.
He did.
Up until this point.
Which
I think speaks volumes. And not
I agree. And not in a good way. So we'll see if he drops out. As of July 7th at 7:10 p.m., he has not dropped out the race. There are still clashes, within the Democratic Party. Thankfully, more Democrats are coming forward than not, saying that he should withdraw. And there's still just people saying he needs to withdraw, and he hasn't done it yet.
That's right.
And I'm sure this guy is probably out here talking about no. I mean, Stephen King. You know Stephen King, the author?
One of my favorite authors of all time.
Do you want to know what he said?
What did he say?
Oh, I'm sure Graham Platner's going to drop out, but he shouldn't.
Stephen King.
So that's what I'm saying. There's still Democrats are out here like, no, he shouldn't drop out. But thankfully, most of his former public supporters and most Democrats in a public manner are saying that he needs to withdraw. Of course, we're seeing really vile comments on social media that basically insinuates that they don't want him to drop out the race either, because they're saying horrific things about the woman who came forward against Graham Platner. So there's still some clashing going on, but thankfully the majority of the Democrats who supported him in a public manner, Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders, Ro Khanna, they have all come out and said he needs to withdraw. He should not continue his candidacy. So
I agree.
Yeah, and I agree. So we turn now to Capitol Hill, where a profound wall of silence surrounding the health of former Republican leader Mitch McConnell is fueling intense speculation across Washington. The 84-year-old Kentucky senator has now been hospitalized for more than 3 weeks following a medical emergency at his D.C. residence on June 14th. While his aides have repeatedly declined to share a specific diagnosis, newly unearthed medical dispatcher recordings revealed that first responders performed CPR on an unconscious individual suffering from cardiac arrest at Mitch McConnell's address that morning. Despite those alarming details, McConnell's office has released only brief updates insisting that he is continuing to improve. and actively working with staff on Senate matters. But his absolute public silence, failing to even issue statements on landmark Supreme Court decisions, has sent the rumor mill into overdrive. With the Senate returning from recess on July 13th, his prolonged absence leaves Republicans navigating a razor-thin majority and shines a harsh spotlight on Capitol Hill's long history of keeping voters completely in the dark regarding the health of its aging leadership.
84 years old is past aging.
He is so old.
Like,
he is older than Joe Biden, I think.
Like Mitch, man, you have earned your
How old is Joe
retirement.
Biden? Joe Biden is like I think he is older than Joe Biden, and I proudly, like, no regret, but
He is older
proudly,
than Joe
yeah,
Biden.
he's older than Joe Biden. Joe Biden is 83, and proudly with no regret, I was like, Joe, you need to drop out the race.
Like
in
Mitch-
2024, I was like, you gotta go, Joe.
Mitch.
You cannot fuck shit anymore. This dude right here is a year older, and he has honestly been worse than what Joe Biden did when he was freaking in office.
And I'm saying, Mitch, you've earned your retirement. Like, there's no reason for you to be 84 years old and stressing yourself out at the House or like in the Senate every single day.
Right.
You're 84 years old, man. Enjoy your retirement.
Enjoy. And he clearly don't want to.
He clearly has a passion for politics. Clearly.
And he's not one of the people that I'm happy that he has such a passion for politics.
That's right. You have a very big issue with people that are too old running again.
Too old, too MAGA, too Trumpy. So not only are you old and crippling, you're MAGA Trumpy who supports his racist and horrible agenda.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, like, are fine with Trump having this authoritarianism government, right? So yeah, no, Mitch, you gotta go.
Which
Right.
Unfortunately, it makes this all so much worse that we don't even know how he's doing.
We don't know. They're saying he was unconscious.
Like, I hope he's okay, but
And there are people that were saying, there were also reports saying that he was brain dead.
like, I hope he's
So
okay.
I'm
but
like, sir,
it's very strange that we have no true updates on his condition.
we don't know
after
what is going
over a
on.
month.
And if I was a Kentucky voter or Kentucky resident, and my senator is just, we don't know his condition, we don't know how he's doing, he's just unconscious, or maybe not, maybe he's brain dead, maybe he's not. Like, as a Kentucky voter, Kentucky resident, I'll be like, this dude's supposed to be representing me.
Right.
And we don't even know how he's doing. It's like in New Jersey, the guy in the House of Representatives who represents a district in New Jersey, who was literally out of Congress for, let me look it up, but he was out of Congress for X amount of freaking months, and he was out because of a medical, here it is. So Thomas Keenan Jr., he was out for, how many months was he out? For 117 days.
Wow, so
He was out for 117 days.
That's almost 4 months.
He was out
That's
for
only
4
months. Mhm.
months because he was being treated for depression. But no one knew where he was for the 117 days. No one knew. That's longer than Kamala's 2024 presidential run.
Yes, that's
Like, hello?
and I think
Hello?
It's less about the treatment because everybody needs treatment.
Of
Everyone runs into
course.
medical issues. It's the silence. That
It's the
follows it.
silence. It's the silence, right? So the problem is like, you can't just be out and you're representing a group of people in your state or in your district
that are relying on you.
that are relying on you to speak for them and
That's
address their needs.
That's
And then you're just ghost and no one knows what your condition is. No one knows if you're okay. No one knows if you're alive. No one knows if you're dead. Like, no. So let's react to some of Mitch McConnell's weak moments in the past few years. This is not even just in the past year. This is from 2023. So let's react to this first video right here of Mitch in 2023, August 30th.
Thoughts about what?
Running for re-election in 2026.
That's
Did you hear the question, Senator? Running for re-election in 2026? All right, I'm sorry, you all. We're going to need a minute. Senator. Any?
Okay.
Somebody else have a question? Please speak up.
What are my thoughts about what?
That was worse than Biden's debate
You could
performance,
be
low
kicking
key.
your feet up in Puerto Rico and Turks and Caicos, like enjoying your retirement.
Enjoying your retirement.
Your quite long-standing political career, where even though you have never held the beliefs that I have held, I mean, you've had a very long and successful career for certain.
Yeah.
You've accomplished many things, like being the majority leader for the longest time.
Right.
I mean, enjoy your retirement. I don't think that you need to be stressing, because politics is stressful. It's
So
extremely stressful.
Yeah.
At 84 years old, I'm not getting anywhere near politics.
No. And it's like, come on, guys. This is from 2023 to 2026. And he was doing this.
Right.
He was doing this at press conference. He couldn't even answer the question.
That's right.
He couldn't even answer the question. And then his aide had to be like, all right, another question. He couldn't even answer the question.
That's right.
This is the problem I have with older people not passing the torch and remaining in office when they're old and clearly their health is declining. I have an issue with it.
Right.
I have an issue with anyone who is suffering from an extreme health issue and is not being transparent with the public, and you're absent from Congress for X amount of days, X amount of months, right? I have an issue with it. If you're unfit for office, you should not be in office, especially if you're older, especially if you're 84 years old,
Right.
especially if you have served all of these terms. Pass the torch to a younger generation to continue what you want to see, enacted in office, in politics, right?
Right.
So that is the problem that I have. So this is just one example of Mitch McConnell. I'm going to show another example of Mitch McConnell, and it's just not good. He was being asked a question about ICE in 2020. This was 2025, end of 2025. And he was asked a question, and he clearly didn't even want to answer the question, but he ends up taking a fall.
Oh my God.
So let's react to this.
My name is Stella. I want to ask, do you support ICE taking working people off the streets and kidnapping them?
But shoot, he got out of answering the question.
He did. He very much got out of answering the question, didn't he?
You know what? When I'm an old man and someone asks me that question, I'm gonna fall. Like,
I mean, he didn't want to answer that question about ICE.
no, he didn't.
Yeah.
But these are the people making the decisions.
Thank you.
In our country.
And he is unfit to be in office.
That's right.
The freezing for 30 plus seconds was in 2023. This fall happened a few months ago in 2025, right? That was like, what, 8 months ago?
Right.
Like, seriously. And now we don't even know if dude's alive. And I'm not even trying to be funny. Like, we don't know if dude's alive. We don't know if dude's alive. We don't know if dude's alive. And I just have a major problem with older members of Congress, older members of city council, older people who want to run for president, who want to run for a second term like Joe Biden. And he has to drop out the race in July and give Kamala Harris 107 days to run for president. If you are mentally and physically unfit to be president of the United States, to be a United States senator, to be in the House of Representatives, to be in the city council, school council, right? Like, You need to pass the torch to the younger generation.
That's more
and
in tune with what's going on.
That is more in tune with what's going on, because it's crazy to lie to your constituents who you're supposed to be representing and say, no, I'm fine. I've been fine for all these years, and you haven't been fine for all these years.
Right.
And now we don't even know your condition. Obviously, I hope he's not dead, right? But he very much could be. Unfortunately, they responded to an unconscious man in June.
Right.
And we still don't know where
July.
he is. We don't know what his condition is at all.
That's right.
So this is the problem I have with older members of Congress or people who are in office for a presidency, right? It's just, if you are not physically and mentally fit, you should not continue.
That's right.
Do you have any final thoughts about anything we've discussed today?
I think we've covered it all. I think it's been a very interesting conversation. Specifically with Graham Platner, for sure. That was definitely the most interesting to me, but also the most difficult to talk about.
Very difficult.
What about you?
I mean, with Graham Platner, I knew that something worse was going to come out about him. And unfortunately, I was correct. I thought that something worse was going to come out maybe with his social media posts. I did not imagine this.
I never saw this coming either.
It's just so heartbreaking. And I'm just proud of her for coming forward and for being so brave, because it is so difficult. I mean, she even said in the interview that she threw up multiple times that day, right? So it's just very unfortunate that this dude got so far and he became the nominee. He didn't deserve that spot. And it's also, hopefully we have an update about Mitch McConnell soon, about his condition.
Hopefully he's all right.
And, like what happened with Thomas Keene Jr., who was out for 117 days. No one knew where he was. He was treated for depression. He should have just said that, right? He should have just said up front, I'm being treated for depression, because no one knew where he was. His constituents in New Jersey did not know if he was okay, if he was going through a health challenge, if he was just all on vacation. No one knew where he was. And it's looking like that's going to happen with Mitch McConnell if no one comes forward and says what his condition is and if he is okay. And it's very concerning, and why I have a problem with older members still being in office, and why I support term limits, and why I support age limits when it comes to things like this. And also with the white nationalist group marching, it's just sad that this is what's going on in our country right now. And especially with it being in DC and me going to school in DC, it was just really hard to see.
It's a scary time for sure.
So thank you so much for joining me today. This was a really amazing conversation. It was hard topic, so it was also very enjoyable to speak about these important issues with you.
It's extremely important. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. And that is all that I have for you today. Thank you so much for tuning into Power, Policy, and Progress with Madison Maynard. I hope you enjoyed today's discussion. Please tune in on Thursday. We'll be back with more political news, analysis, and conversations about the issues shaping our country. In the meantime, please follow me on Instagram at Power, Policy, and Progress Podcast, and follow me on TikTok at Power, Policy, Progress Pod for online content. If you're watching on YouTube, please don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications so you never miss an episode. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please follow, subscribe, rate the podcast, preferably 5 stars to show your support. And of course, join the conversation, leave a comment, let us know your thoughts on today's topics. I'd love to hear from you. And thank you again for listening. I'm Madison Maynard, and you're listening to Power, Policy, and Progress. I'll see you next time.